Gamers have been super hyped for the release of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It is going to be one of the largest releases of 2025, and everything had been going really smoothly. We were seeing gameplay teasers and trailers that looked good. We were getting a lot of information, but now it seems that that all has come to a halt because we heard reports that it is going to be banned in Saudi Arabia for potentially inappropriate content. And instead of just answering us honestly as to why it is getting banned, the developers seem to be reacting in the worst way possible by making very vague statements on social media, changing their Steam forum rules, shutting down threads, and trying to silence gamers. Now, obviously, when it comes to Saudi Arabia, tons of content gets banned there. It really is hard to get a game release there. And even if a relationship is not black and white and cut and dry LGBT, even if it is just hinted at, it is enough to get a game banned. One of my favorite releases in 2023, actually my game of the year, Final Fantasy 16, was banned there very early on because Bahamut, or Dion, is a male who has an interest in another male. They do not have any sort of like inappropriate scenes together, but because it is referenced, because they clearly do show interest in one another in a romantic way, it was enough to get it banned. So it does not take a lot for games to be banned in this region. And unfortunately, that means that a lot of good experiences are overshadowed for people there, but on the flip side, it's the way that they are, it's the way that they always have been. It's like, oh, a game got banned in China, imagine my shock, or oh, a game with excessive drug use got banned in Australia, imagine my shock. But instead of just answering gamers' questions as to why it is banned or what kind of content it features, Daniel Vavra decided to come out and make a very vague statement that gamers, of course, are not going to appreciate. He said, "The game is exactly what I wanted it to be. No one has tried to influence me as an artist in any way, and anyone who knows me knows I wouldn't let them anyway. Every character in the game has a very clear reason to be where they are, which you'll understand when you play the game. Our goal was and still is to show life in medieval Bohemia, and it is easily could have happened and tell an interesting story. At the same time, it is a role-playing game, so it is purely up to the player what decisions they make, and for all the decisions they make, they are responsible for the consequences and the that correspond to the morals and social norms of the time. I don't want to spoil the plot, the important events, and the roles of some of the characters for anyone, so you'll have to see for yourself by playing the game, and then I strongly believe you'll agree with me. Now, I don't necessarily think that this is like the worst statement ever. He's not attacking gamers, but on the flip side, he's being very vague and he's not really giving us the answers that we want. He could have just said yes or no, it features the content that you are hearing about, and he could have left it at that, but he's not. And it's led to a lot of confusion and a lot of backlash. Hypnotic made this post saying this is a whole lot of nothing. Unfortunately, the people who want this game to fail are going to run with this and continue until you flat out just answer the question they are looking for. Regardless, I think people shocked at gay characters in KCD2 clearly didn't play the first. They are more so focused on Henry than anything else in regards to the gay relationships and whether or not the main character can partake in it. Yeah, a lot of games that are set in a medieval setting do feature gay relationships in some way, shape, or form. I think it was interesting that he talks about the consequences that correspond to the morals and social norms of the time. I don't know how far they're going to actually touch on that, but it is true the first one did feature these types of relationships, and it would be surprising if the second one didn't, but context really matters here. If it's just a couple that's outwardly gay and everybody knows that would not fit into the time period. It would not be historically accurate, but if they're like sneaking around and it just happens to be one couple, or it is options that you can pick if that's the direction you want to go in, that would make sense. But he's not giving us anything to work with. And according to the reports, it is unskippable. It was like an unskippable scene, which would be a major problem, but he just will not answer. And that is what is so frustrating about this. Developers can create whatever content they want, but I am still allowed to criticize the content that they are creating, they are expecting me to buy. And if I'm getting things as simple as cutscene skips taken away from me, that's not going to sit well with me and a lot of other people. But I don't like the fact that he's just not giving us a straight up answer. And I had also posted artists should be allowed to create whatever they want, but they should also answer questions as simply as possible when so many people are asking, so we can decide if we want to spend our money on their creation or not. I hate when CEOs and studio leads refuse to answer questions literally thousands of gamers are asking, then go on to silence them on forums, which is really what pisses me off in this whole situation. I get that developers might not want to comment on like speculation and rumors, especially if they're false, but he could have just said, wait a little bit longer, or you all are getting worried for nothing. And now we have this happening where the forums are blowing up of people saying newly added LGBTQ plus tag. Is this game woke? Confirmation it's true. And then this brand new code of conduct post where they want people to stay on topic, respect others, no political or religious debates, no spoilers without warning, but then they have a new zero tolerance for discrimination policy, no hate speech or harmful ideologies, maintain civility in debate, and then the consequences for violations are deleting posts or threads, locking threads, issuing warnings temporarily, or permanently banning users for the forum. So if they had to implement this, I'm sure that they are going to ultimately act on it. And I think over the next couple of days, we are going to see a lot of threads locked and even potentially deleted, which is very worrying. Like, why are you trying to silence people who are simply asking questions if this content actually isn't in your game? And it just seems like they are suddenly changing the direction from how they have acted over the past couple of years. Now, when it comes to Daniel Vavra, he was a big part of Gamergate 1 and he decided to go independent right after it happened, and then he made Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, and he and his team did a fantastic job. And I know a lot of people have a lot of trust in him and a lot of faith in him, and I do too, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it just seems like a very odd situation if they really don't have anything to worry about. Like, why are you going to change the rules if this content isn't in the game, or if you think everybody is going to be happy? Why are you putting rules in place to silence users if you do not like the way that they are responding or the way that they are asking questions? So I don't think he's going to say anything else until the release of the game in about 3 weeks, and I will be streaming it, but I would not pre-order this game if I was not a content creator. Like with most games, save your money, wait until it comes out, and I will be streaming it so that you guys can see it here firsthand and decide whether or not it is worth swiping your credit card on. If I'm streaming it and there's, let's say, just for argument's sake, 100 people in the stream, that is potentially 99 sales that are not going to a game if that game ends up being bad, or 99 sales if you guys see that I'm having a lot of fun and it is actually a really fantastic experience. Always be very careful with the internet. Do not blindly believe companies and individuals at these companies are exactly the people you believe, because it's social media, right? Not everybody is going to always act the way that they present themselves online. And with Daniel Vavra, it seems that he maybe is standing on shaky ground right now. He's not sure how to properly respond. So instead, he decided to make this half-assed statement that I think is just going to blow up in his face. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.